watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. We roll live from a highway between Chanderi and Narsinghpur in the state of Madhya Pradesh. But viewers, let's put the focus on the state of Chhattisgarh. Today was the first phase of polling. 20 seats. The Dantewada, Sukma, Bastar region went to vote today. But all of it happening in the backdrop and a political narrative of corruption. The ED stating that the Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh took money where the Mahadev app is concerned to the tune of 580 crores. Will the corruption charge stick in the midst of Chhattisgarh going to elections? Can the Congress counter it?
The onset of the electoral showdown as the first phase of polling commenced in one part of Chhattisgarh. Political firebrands flared in the other. Prime Minister Narendra Modi made a fresh move on the state's political chessboard. Prime Minister accused the ruling Congress of fostering a game of chance among the youth.
कांग्रेस ने अपनी तिजोरी भरने के लिए आपके बच्चों से सट्टेबाजी करवाई है। उन्होंने महादेव के नाम पर भी घोटाला कर दिया।
The timing couldn't have been more crucial, especially as the central government recently dealt a knockout blow to the controversial online betting app Mahadev, which had its roots in Chhattisgarh.
जो घोटाले का सबसे बड़ा आरोपी है, वो टीवी पर आकर कह रहा है कि उसने मुख्यमंत्री को 500 करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा रिश्वत दी है।
An app with a glitzy facade. The online betting app, now banned, has become the hottest political poker table just during the Chhattisgarh elections. The BJP government at the centre accused the ruling Congress in Chhattisgarh of allowing the app operations to flourish even during 1.5 years of investigations by the state police.
छत्तीसगढ़ के मुख्यमंत्री भूपेश बघेल 508 करोड़ ले रहे हैं। किससे ले रहे हैं? एक क्रिमिनल एलिमेंट बैक्ड बेटिंग। मैं ये क्यों कह रहा हूं? क्योंकि आज के दिन में जो बेटिंग एप्स हैं, बेटिंग एजेंसियां हैं, वो इलीगल हैं। तो एक तो इलेक्शन के लिए पैसा लेना, दूसरा इलेक्शन के लिए क्रिमिनल एलिमेंट से पैसा लेना।
In a video message, a key accused in Mahadev betting case, identified as Shubham Soni, made a sensational claim, accusing the Chhattisgarh Chief Minister of encouraging him to set up this online gaming business. Chief Minister Baghel dismissed the claims and questioned the authenticity of the suspect, now described as the original owner of the banned platform.
दूसरे दिन वीडियो आता है कि वो उसका मालिक है। ये जो सौरभ चंद्राकर है वो उसके कर्मचारी हैं। वीडियो आपने देखा होगा कितने बार उठ के वो वीडियो ठीक करता है, थूक गटक रहा है, बोलने के तौर तरीके कितने उसमें कट पेस्ट हुआ है।
Lavish parties hosted by Saurav Chandrakar, the wanted promoter of the Mahadev betting racket in the UAE. Once a juice maker in Chhattisgarh, now at the center of a massive fraud and money laundering accusations. Prime Minister Modi's direct attack on the Chhattisgarh Chief Minister over Mahadev app has fueled the fiery clash between Congress and the BJP before the second phase of polling on November 17th. Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's quickly cut across to my colleague Summi Rajapan, who's reported through the first phase of polling. 20 seats, like we pointed out, viewers went to vote today. 70 are still left to vote alongside Madhya Pradesh on the 17th of November. Summi, the first phase over, the second 70-seat contest still on for Chhattisgarh. Will the corruption taint stick? What are you picking up from the people? Has the narrative of the allegations where the Mahadev app giving money to the Chief Minister and the bribing betting racket, has it, echoed with the voters?
Yes, in fact, today we were covering the first phase of polling. We spoke to a lot of people who had come there to vote, and for them, their innate issues were the main issues on which they have voted. In fact, this whole Mahadev book scam, the alleged Mahadev book scam, is not resonating with the people, at least in the tribal areas of Bastar. And in fact, in the Durg division as well, people have voted for developmental issues, people have voted for non-corrupt government, and people have voted for a rising inflation. So there were these issues that matter to the people. However, in the rest 70 seats, including the seats of Raipur, including the seats of Durg, which are the urban areas, that's where corruption is now a big mudda. In fact, is now the big electoral issue. And that's where I think Mahadev book scam will actually have a play. BJP is trying to convince the voters of Bhupesh Baghel being the most corrupt CM. However, how it's going to resonate, how it's going to translate into words, that remains to be seen. But so far, the effect is not to be seen on
All
the
right,
ground as
appreciate.
much.
Right. All right, but understandably, because this is the Bastar area, the tribal belt as well, and 20 seats went to polls today. Will it reflect in the 70 seats, more urban seats, traditionally speaking? Let's cut across to our political analyst, Ashutosh, senior political analyst, joins us, as well as Rashid Kidwai. Ashutosh, what do you make of the current scenario playing out in the state of Chhattisgarh? First phase over. However, the corruption charge rife right now, where the BJP is spinning that narrative. Do you reckon the 70 seats, they could make it count?
I don't think so. My opinion is very simple and straight. The fact of the matter is that these tamashas, these gimmicks are done on the eve of the elections. And the voter do understand that this is just to impact voters and to change their mind. But the fact of the matter is that Chhattisgarh, Congress at least have an edge in terms of having a very strong leadership. Bhupesh Baghel has emerged as a good prospect for the future nationally, and in Chhattisgarh, I think he has a connect with people. And in the last 4 and 5 years, if you look at the BJP was absolutely nowhere to be seen, and in the last minute, they somehow tried to resurrect Raman Singh. That exposes that BJP is vulnerable, BJP is weak in Chhattisgarh, and to compensate their weakness, this Mahadev app and the corruption charges are made out. But the fact of the matter is that I think we all should think about it, that whether the Prime Minister using the word Mahadev, is it a violation of code of conduct or not? Because Mahadev, in the context which is used here, has a religious connotation. Will Election Commission take cognizance of this? I'm not sure.
I want to bring in Jayanto Ghoshal into this conversation. Jayanto Ghoshal, the Prime Minister today's rally, once again took a direct swipe at the Chhattisgarh government, where he said that there is an attempt to foster an atmosphere of gambling. Do you see that stick, especially as now we bolster into the 70-seat contest in the state of Chhattisgarh, and traditionally urban seats, possibly the narrative set by the BJP resonating?
Priti, this Chhattisgarh election has become more interesting as a journalist, because all the surveys, as Ashutosh, I agree with Ashutosh, that in Chhattisgarh now BJP is weak. And all the surveys, those surveys were saying that the Chief Minister can retain the power again for another term. And I appreciate the brand equity of the man. Earlier, who will be the Chief Minister, rotating Chief Minister, different issues were there. And now it is not Rahul Gandhi, but it is the Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh has become the brand equity. But this Bhraštachar, this corruption issue, there is no full stop in electoral politics in our country. We have to admit one fact, that Mr. Modi consistently, it's a strategy to make the corruption, it's a national pan-Indian issue, and that's why he said it in the Red Fort speech of 15th August long back. So before 2024, in every state, whether people will accept it or not, that election result will say, but you cannot ignore the allegation of the person who is saying that I have given the money. And whether people will believe it or not, the brand equity of Baghel and the Modi ji's campaign capability, brand equity of Mr. Modi, now it is a litmus test is the election. And you have to admit one fact, for the last 10 years, be that as it may, there is no major corruption issue what opposition has raised again Narendra Modi personally or any cabinet minister. So 2G spectrum case I have seen in the last 10 years of Congress. And that time what happened, not only policy paralysis, but corruption was the main issue. BJP was also victim in Karnataka. So irrespective of party line, in our country, Bofors was a major issue. I don't want to go to history. But you have to accept that there is a twist in Chhattisgarh in the last leg of the election campaign. And Bhraštachar, you have to...
You know, many are saying that...
Right. Preeti.
Well, many are saying that there is a twist in the tail where Chhattisgarh is concerned, and that could be very worrying for the Congress, Rashid Kidwai, because that twist in the tail is being reported not just from Chhattisgarh, also reported from where I'm standing, the state of Madhya Pradesh. But focusing on Chhattisgarh, Rashid Kidwai, what's the comeback of the Congress? Because, you know, this is the last leg, the final lap, whatever cliche that one might want to use connected to politics. And this is the time where you have the BJP going all guns blazing, linking the chief minister directly to allegations of corruption, when corruption is already a poll issue in the state.
Preeti, I think Chhattisgarh story is a story of BJP's utter failure. There were 5 years were there since 2018. The BJP has failed to put up any credible state leadership against Bhupesh Baghel. Mr. Baghel is using all the tools, including the leading on the Hindu religious symbols, etc. Whether it's about sale of purchase of cow dung, use of this, making of this Ram Path, etc. He has appeared as a very potent political force within the Congress, away from Gandhi's, and since he is relatively young, he has a very bright future. The problem with this corruption charges is the timing of it. How is it that it's coming? And second thing, I am all for eradication of corruption, but it should have been watertight case, a case that would have led to dramatic, perhaps arrest of a chief minister or something like that. But that's not the thing. It's in the realm of allegations, and we know the ED's style of functioning. It's all become very predictable. Therefore, I don't see it making any electoral impact on the seats that have gone to polls today, or in the coming 70 seats which will be there on 17th, or in neighboring Madhya Pradesh.
Ashutosh, with what you also said earlier, one can say that, if there are allegations that come or are sprung up on the eve of election, the voter is smart. But the election in Chhattisgarh, Ashutosh, is also being fought on the issue of corruption, where we've seen in the recent past, Chhattisgarh has been replete with various scams, allegations galore where the Congress government is concerned. Do you not see this charge or this possible taint bolstering that narrative?
I don't think so, because if you go by this logic, then Vyapam should have been the major issue in Madhya Pradesh. And in Vyapam, I don't think anything has ever been done of that proportion. But Vyapam has never been an issue in the Madhya Pradesh election. And but I just want to take you back in history. In 2013, when the Aam Aadmi Party was contesting election for the first time, just on the eve of election, a sting operation came into the picture, where many Aam Aadmi Party candidates were seen taking money or talking in terms of taking money from somebody else. Did it make any impact? It did not make any impact. Rather, it bolstered Aam Aadmi Party's claim that this is done by their opponents to tarnish their image. So I think at this moment, BJP, if the BJP had done in the last 5 years, if they would have tried to make corruption an issue, BJP did not do that on the eve of election. The timing is very important, and the people will suspect, and especially when the leader is a very aggressive and a very somebody who identifies himself with the Chhattisgarh identity. So in that context, I don't think it is going to make any impact at all.
Right. Okay, but I want to bring in Jayanta Ghoshal there, but Ashutosh, you gave the analogy of what went down in 2013. At that time, you'd know it best. The Aam Aadmi Party was a disruptor, and Arvind Kejriwal was seen as the messiah then of anti-corruption. Things have come full circle, and things very, very different now, and possibly, the scenario of Chhattisgarh very different when it comes down to that. But Jayanta Ghoshal, bringing you in on this conversation, but taking off from what Ashutosh says, no difference at all, or do you, the last couple of months, corruption has been a poll issue in the state of Chhattisgarh. Even when you're going down on the ground, the kind of voices that are resonating, people are talking about scams, allegations, where the Congress government is concerned. Do you see them make this connect, or as Ashutosh says, that the voters become very, very smart and they can discern on what is a hit job of what the Congress alleges or what is actually, credible allegations?
Yeah, Priti, I agree that the taste of the pudding always in its eating. But one thing, my humble approach is on this issue, that every election in our country is always complicated because it is not a one single factor. There are multiple combination of multiple factors. And you have to accept one fact that in spite of the brand equity of Baghel is a regional messiah, as Rashid also said and Ashutosh ji is also saying, that the regional political identity as a person, as a politician, that it is a great success of Mr. Baghel. And it's not Congress High Command, it's not Rahul Gandhi, it's Baghel in Chhattisgarh. And in spite of that, this popularity, BJP is a master strategist. You know the tribal OBC issues, how BJP changed the leadership and brought OBC leader, then central minister, tribal leader, now she is fighting. So several strategy, BJP is never a pessimist. Always they are trying to strategize. And now the corruption has become a major issue, because now Congress has to defend. So it's strategically, it suits BJP in a critical situation of Chhattisgarh.
Well, okay, we're running out of time, but Jayanta, we're running out of time. I apologize, I'm coming in. Apologies, Rashid Kidwai, should have come to you for a second question. But will there be a twist in the tail where Chhattisgarh is concerned? Well, we don't know. Will the Congress be on a defensive or go on the offensive? Right now they seem to be on the offensive there. We're going to continue to get you the latest ground reports, analysis, number crunching. You can't get it anywhere but right here, which is India Today.